Okay, so you know that feeling, right? You've got this big, important thing to do, but suddenly, tidying your desk seems absolutely vital.
Oh, definitely. I think almost everyone knows that feeling. We've all been there.
Yeah, exactly. So for this deep dive, we're asking what's really going on when we procrastinate? Is it, just being lazy? Or is it something maybe a bit more complicated?
Well, it's definitely more complex than just laziness. That's sort of the easy answer, isn't it?
Right.
But research really points towards procrastination being often a way we handle tricky emotions.
Okay, hang on. So it's not just that we don't feel like working, it's about feelings.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. You might feel anxious about a huge project, maybe bored stiff by a repetitive task, or even afraid you might fail.
Or that perfectionism thing, right? Where you can't start until it's perfect.
Spot on. Yeah, perfectionism is a big one too.
Yeah.
Those feelings, anxiety, boredom, fear, they can be really strong triggers.
And our brain, its reaction is just avoid the feeling, avoid the task.
Pretty much. Yeah. When a task brings up those negative vibes, avoiding it gives you this like instant escape, a bit of relief. Doing something else feels, well, better for a moment.
But only for a moment, because that relief, it doesn't stick around, does it? Then comes the guilt, the stress.
Precisely. That immediate feel-good hit is super short-lived, and worse, it often leads to this cycle, right? More stress, more guilt because the deadline's still there. Maybe you feel worse about yourself too.
Okay, so if it's not just pure laziness, what's happening up in the brain when we choose, say, scrolling on our phone over finishing that report?
Yeah, so we can simplify it down to a kind of battle between two key brain areas. You've got the prefrontal cortex, that's your inner planner, the sensible part that knows about deadlines and consequences.
Right, the adult in the room.
Kind of, yeah. And then there's the limbic system. This part is much more emotional, impulsive. It's seeking pleasure, comfort, avoiding discomfort right now.
And I'm guessing the limbic system often shouts louder.
It often does, especially when we're stressed or tired. That quick dopamine hit from checking social media or watching one more episode is really tempting for the limbic system. It can easily overpower the prefrontal cortex's longer-term plans, even when you know you should be doing the other thing.
Which sounds a lot like this concept of time inconsistency. We value the now much more than the later.
That's a really great way to put it. Yes, that's a huge part of procrastination. We're sort of hardwired to prioritize immediate rewards over future benefits.
Which explains why starting something big, like, I don't know, writing a book or even just starting a new exercise habit, feels so incredibly hard sometimes. The payoff feels ages away.
Exactly. That funny cat video gives you a little burst of joy now. The feeling of accomplishment from finishing the book is way off in the distance.
Yeah.
Our brains aren't naturally built for easily delaying gratification.
Okay, this is making a lot of sense. We get the why. So the big question is, what can we actually do about it? How do we fight back?
Right, the practical stuff. Well, one really effective strategy is breaking things down. Take that massive, scary task and chop it into tiny, tiny steps, like ridiculously small.
So it doesn't feel so overwhelming.
Exactly. The first tiny step feels manageable.
Yeah.
You can do that. Then the next one, it builds momentum.
Makes sense. What else? Any quick tricks?
The 2-minute rule is pretty popular and surprisingly useful. The idea is if a task pops into your head and you know it'll take less than 2 minutes, just do it right then.
Oh, I like that. Clears the decks of those little nagging things.
Yeah, it gets them out of the way. Another one, which sounds a bit weird, is actually scheduling time to procrastinate.
Wait, schedule procrastination? How does that work?
It's a bit counterintuitive, I know. But if you give yourself, say, 15 minutes later today to specifically mess around online, sometimes it lessens the urge to do it all the time when you should be working. You know it's coming.
Huh. Interesting psychological trick. What about the way we talk to ourselves when we do procrastinate?
Ah, that's crucial. Self-compassion. Beating yourself up with, I'm so lazy, I have no willpower, that just fuels the negative feelings that made you procrastinate in the first place.
So be kinder to yourself about it.
Yes, talk to yourself like you talk to a friend who's struggling. Acknowledge it's tough, and then gently redirect. It's much more effective than criticism.
That really lands. Negative self-talk is such a trap. Okay, maybe one last tip.
Try visualizing the future reward. Really feel what it'll be like to have finished the task. Make that future benefit feel more real, more tangible, more immediate in your mind. Connect with the positive outcome.
So pulling this all together, procrastination isn't really a character flaw, is it? It's more like a common human reaction to discomfort.
That's the core message, really. It's about understanding your triggers, what makes you feel overwhelmed or anxious or bored, and then learning strategies to manage that discomfort and gently nudge yourself back on track.
So maybe the goal isn't just about cramming more tasks into the day. It's more about focusing your energy on what actually matters to you in the bigger picture. Thanks. This has been really illuminating.
My pleasure. It leaves you with a thought, though. Are you just trying to maximize output, or are you focusing on actions that truly align with what you value long term?